Alrighty, we are live streaming. That 30 seconds feels like 30 years when we're waiting for that to start. Welcome online, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Firth, one of the founding advisory board members of Numi. Just to kick off the event, if anybody does not speak fluent English, did you know that you can go to the bottom of the screen and you can actually click on interpretation here in the Zoom room and you will be able to read along as best as it can follow a fast Australian accent. No guarantees. Having said that, I want to also do a shout out. Thank Keith, Shazon, and Phoebe for helping me letting people in the room as we get the event underway. So today's event is a very timely one because we're heading into the festive period. Right here in Australia, it's the 13th of November. And I can tell you by the 13th of December, everyone goes to sleep, certainly in Australia anyway. And I know in different countries around the world, the Indonesian team says that won't happen there because, it's a different culture. But here in Australia, Christmas, boom, that's what happens. Beaches, warm weather, talk to the hand. I'm on the beach, getting a tan. And so I say all this to you because around the world, we're in different climates, we're in different periods of time, different cultures. But this is one of the greatest times to grow your business around the world. And with that in mind, in the Zoom room, I can see right now we've got Louisiana, Alberta, Canada, Ontario, Canada, Las Vegas. We have Vancouver, Canada. Canada's everywhere today. Colorado, New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand, South Perth, Western Australia, Perth, Ontario, Canada. What is it with Ontario, Canada today? Illinois, Phoenix, Texas, and lots of people typing they want to be forever young as well, which is fantastic. So we're literally getting scope around the world. Numi's in 74 countries. And so some of you, I want to start the call the way I did with an Australian call the other day because I thought it really hit home. I was logging into an event for the Aussie team and I picked up my spare phone on the desk. I have two, just so you know. I've got my phone and they got my phone. You go, they look the same. Well, that's because one was an old phone, one was a new phone. This one has been my music phone where it just sits on the desk and plays. And then one day, recently, I went to charge it and it just wouldn't charge. So why do I tell you this story? I'm going to relate this to Numi members coming up to the festive period. These phones have exactly the same potential. Yeah. But the phone doesn't work without a battery. So potential is useless if it doesn't have a battery, yeah, if there's no power in it. So this phone was worth a few $1,000s back in the day, and now without a battery, it is worth zero because it won't do anything. Now, that's the same as somebody who is building a Numi business without a fresh list of names. Useless. Now, I say that all the potential in the world, but that potential won't turn into anything because you've got no one to talk to. Now, if you have gone through your warm list already, all the way through, please type in yes in the chat. And this idea of making sure your phone is full of battery and all the potentials activated is actually what we're going to talk about for the festive period. Okay. So some of you, if you've got a pen and paper, I'd encourage you to write this down, particularly because so many people are typing in yes, they've gone through the warm list. I want you to set your goals at this time of the year, not around a rank, not around how many people you're going to sponsor for you people. It is how many people you're going to add to your list and how are you going to add to your list. So as we get into the quieter period, some people go, oh, that's it. We just go on holidays and we do nothing because no one else is. Well, that's all about your perspective, if you like. And I'd put it to you this way. I heard this when I was only 18 years of age and I saw the network marketing industry. Someone said, if two people are sitting at a casino, one's got a heap of chips and the other one's got one left, who feels more confident? The guy with a whole heap of chips goes, I can keep betting. Right? That's someone with a big list. Somebody with a tiny list is like, oh, I'm going to bring this last person on my list. I think I'll hold them on. Maybe I'll polish and I'll laminate my list and leave it on the wall with that person's name because at least I feel like I've got a list then, right? So we need to have an active list. And one of the biggest things that made a difference for me in this industry was keeping an active list through the incubator of social media being Facebook. I don't mean spamming the word Numi. I mean building relationships using that. Now, in a similar vein, I want to talk about a business that went out of business when I lived back in Melbourne. There was a guy who had the most successful chicken shop, roast chicken. Oh my God, it was amazing. And he sold the business. And I went in there and there was two brand new owners, two Asian guys in there. And I walked in and I went to order a chicken and he said, actually, they're still cooking. And I'm like, oh, now normally you'd walk in there and there was like rows and rows and rows of these roast chickens. And I walked in there and they had one row, novice, right? And these guys didn't have a clue about it. They were like, oh, we don't know how many chickens we're going to sell today, so we won't put too many on. Then the rush comes in. They didn't have any chickens. I bought a chicken that day. I went home. I realized it hadn't been cooked all the way through. I never went back to that shop ever again. So in an effort to, oh, I don't want to touch all my chickens. I don't want to ring all the people on my list. Right? They burnt that business. And guess what? The guy bought it back off them 12 months later for half the price and redid it all over again. Right? So there is some wisdom in a chicken shop. There is some wisdom in having a flat battery or no list. And there's some wisdom today where I've interviewed Karen, Alex, two crowns, and I'm going to give you my perspective as well. Okay. So the best time for you to network is when everyone is not thinking business. Okay, for the novice, they go, no, it's a quiet time. But for the people who really know what they're talking about, this is the best time because it's when people's guards down, they're having fun, they're having a few drinks, they're celebrating a festive period. So I'm going to break it into 5 key points from me, and then I'm going to play some feedback from Alex and from Karen. So these are the points if you're going to write them down from my feedback first. Mindset, number 1. Skills, number 2. Preparation, number 3. Follow up, number 4, and then think creatively, number 5. Okay, so I'll kick off with the first one. So let's look around your mindset at this time of the year with networking. You'll hear this from Alex later on. Go to the opening of an envelope. That wasn't the words he used, but go to everything you're invited to, right? Just this morning, I have stopped going to the gym since April because I busted my rotor cuff, and I had someone say to me, hey, you going to the Christmas party for the gym? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't know it was on, but absolutely, right? Any excuse to be in front of more people, all right? So it's all about that. So I want to give you a tip, though, in the mindset. If you're not that experienced in the industry, what you're probably thinking you're going to do is when you go to an event, your job, you're thinking is to get there and talk about Noumi to everyone. And that's not what I do. Not if you want to keep posture. What is posture? Posture is professionalism, being seen as you've got confidence, but you're not desperate, right? Whereas somebody who just talks about Noumi every 5 seconds of the day can come across as desperate. So for me, I separate contacting and inviting. So during this festive period, I'll be doing a lot of contacting, not necessarily on the spot, a lot of inviting. So there is 5 things we essentially do if you wanted to boil it down, keep it simple. We contact, we invite, we present, we follow up, and we coach. For all the brand new people here who are under 1 star, you can't coach yet because you've got nothing to coach, right? You get your upline to do the coaching. You shouldn't be following up without your upline on your 3-way calls. That's the Noumi 1, 2, 3. They're helping you with all your follow-ups. Presenting, well, if you're a 1 star and above, absolutely go learn present. If you're brand new, you haven't got 1 star yet, maybe don't present. Bring people to the tools that the other people who are proficient are already doing, and eventually learn to present. That leaves 2 things, contacting and inviting. So I separate the 2. And so this is only my perspective. I love Rhonda and I spoken about this before. I'm looking at this side. You might be looking at this side. I'm just giving you my perspective. It's not saying yours is wrong. I'm just saying this is how I see the world as a crown, without theory, real life experiences, what I did to get to my point to self to this point. So this is the way I'm seeing it. I'm not saying I know all the answers. I'm just saying this is what worked for me. So when we're talking about separating, contacting, inviting, my goal when I'm there meeting new people at all these events is to find out as much about them and interact a little bit about me, just to build relationships. That's my sole purpose. Not necessarily to jump out and say, ta-da, I'm actually a member of Noumi, right? So that's number 1, is the mindset. Why are you there? What do you want to achieve? Alex is going to share something about that soon in a minute as well. Second one is skills. So for me, we teach this all year long, and if you're brand new to Noumi, there's plenty of training around this, and that is asking open-ended questions. He or she who asks the questions controls the conversation. And so being able to ask questions such as, and if you don't know what an open-ended question is, what, when, why, how, who, because you can't say yes or no to some of those questions. For example, if I say, hey, Phoebe, what do you do for a living? She can't say yes. If she did, it'd be weird. If she said no, I'd be like, what? Right? So it encourages her to do the talking. And then I learnt this from a guy who lives up the road here, who wrote the body language book that everyone knows about, that I saw when I was 18 years of age. That's Alan Pease. He literally is in his 60s now, maybe even 70s, lives up the road. He's all greyed haired, but same guy that said this. Michael, it was at an event once. He said, when someone's talking to you and you've asked those open-ended questions, put your hand on your chin and scratch your chin and nod. he said two things will happen. One, you'll look intelligent. And two, people will see that you are actively listening. And then you can drive deeper with those questions. So you might say, wow, that's interesting. Tell me more. Or, wow, what made you get into that occupation anyway, Phoebe? You know? So what do you love about it the most? So what, when, how, who, all those sorts of things are open-ended questions, all right? Are you a nurse? Yes, no. What do you do for a living? Good question. All right. And Keith typed it in. Spot on. Questions are the answers. Become a good conversationalist does not mean you need to know everything about Noumi. It means you need to know everything about asking questions to drive a conversation and be interesting. And people will think you're interesting if you're talking about them. If you talk about yourself, they'll think you're boring. And that's the weird thing about it, isn't it? Right. So that's skills. Okay. Now I'm going to ask this question. Who here has a Noumi business card? I want to see in the chat. Who has a business card for Noumi? And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking this question. Somebody does there. Yeah, only one so far. I don't yet. Yes, great, great. Now, I've always taught that you don't need a business card, and I'll tell you why. Some people think by having a business card, they can go to an event and just say, hey, you know, Merry Christmas, I'm at the event, have a coffee with someone, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. And then praying, hoping, wishing, deluded, thinking that everyone's going to call them back. Doesn't happen. Whereas what I've always been taught is to say, hey, are you on Facebook? Yeah, oh, let's add each other. Or, hey, if you're on Facebook, no, that's okay. Hey, chuck your phone number in here. We could connect another time. So I'd get their number. But I have been worn down a little bit and decided to get a business card for this particular period of time, being that we are actually going into the festive period. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. In the back office, if you didn't know it, you can actually go and you can find where to find a business card. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing mine just now. But here is a template. Pretty boring, but it's good enough, plain. There's a few different ones that you can choose from. I'm going to show you what I've done. And not to say that, mine's better than yours or, blah, blah, blah. Just to say this is an idea I had the other day. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing with it. So here is the business card, and I'll show you why I've put it together the way I have and where I would be using it, okay? So it's important that everybody actually says independent member. So you notice it says hydrostat, molecular encapsulation, absorption, bioavailability, and cell utilization under 70 seconds. What does that mean? Exactly. It's cryptic on purpose, right? If you put on your business card everything, then they don't need to go anywhere else, do they? Now, on the back of the card, you could put your QR code and scan that to go directly to your back office to purchase, couldn't you? You could. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm actually, and I haven't done this yet, but I'm working with a company that's doing it for me. I'm actually going to have an AI assistant bot on the back end. When you scan that, it's actually going to have a conversation with you. So in essence, I could be at events meeting people saying, hey, Phoebe, what do you do for a living? Well, how long have you lived in the Sunshine Coast? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, have you got a card? That's my cue when she says yes or no to go, here's mine, right? And then I'm going to say, if you want to see something really cool, scan the back of that. And that's all I'm going to say, right? And then when they scan the back of it, what's going to come up is an AI agent that's going to be discussing or asking them questions, hey, thanks for, hopping on here, what do you want to know, So it'll be able to answer questions around our product, our business, that sort of stuff. So this is gimmicky, yes. And even my wife said, she goes, you probably won't use that much. I said, now that it's a gimmick, I will, because it's something cool and new, which is AI. So if I can hand my card out, knowing that somewhere along the world, someone might hand it to a friend who scans the back and ends up in a conversation and connects with me. But where is the power? The power is in me saying, have you got a business card? And if they say no, I will still be saying, hey, chuck your phone number in here, because I want their details. I'm not just going to give them a card and expect this QR code and an AI thing is going to take over from the world. Anyone who thinks that is deluded yet again. But that's part of your skills, if you like, okay, and preparation. Now, so the first one was mindset. The second one was skills, right? Open-ended questions, having a business card, but knowing how to use it correctly, suggesting they add you on Facebook, using the incubator, I call it. The third one is preparation. Here's the question for all of you. How many of you can put your hand on your heart, hand in the air, and say, I have practiced my elevator pitch and the answer to what is it about Noumi so well that I could just, if Michael hands the microphone to me right now, I could say it out loud. Type in yes, if you have. You've rehearsed that well. Okay, got a yes there. Fantastic. So the first person who said yes, I'm about to hand the microphone to you. Get ready. Oh, I can see you trembling. No, I was only kidding, right? But what if I did? That's the point. Now, if you're standing in front of new people and they say, what do you do for a living? Right? That's when you need to have an answer. Because if you go, and another thing I want to include in there for you guys to write down, don't be third person. What do I mean? Um, so I've heard some people in their elevator pitch talk about Numi and they. Numi does this and they do this and they do that. I'm like, that's interesting because I say we, Numi, our business, we do this, we have done, we launched this, we invented this. So are you, just think about this honestly now, make a note on your paper, are you doing the arm's length thing? All right. So in terms of preparation, your elevator pitch, I'm just going to share something that I do have. And I'm going to share, and Alex will freak out that I'm telling you one of his questions, but it's not in his interview. I know this. He taught a question years ago is where he just says to somebody, hey, what do you know about intracellular glutathione and anti-aging? They go, nothing. Great way to start a conversation. I'll repeat that again. What do you know about intracellular glutathione and anti-aging? So again, it's designed to get them to do the talking, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, in my elevator pitch, Eric Worre, who's a great mentor for the industry, once said, we all need to be proud and loud that we're network marketers. I'm a network marketing professional. So I took his advice and I went to an event and I started telling people I was a network marketing professional. And after the room had cleared and I was the only one person still left standing in the room, I realized that wasn't going to work, right? Because depending on the country you're in and where you're at, some people's perception about network marketing may be good or bad or totally misled because they don't understand it anyway, right? By their broke brother-in-law Skeeter, who once did something for 20 minutes, invited 20 best friends, didn't become a crown and said it doesn't work, right? So what do I say? And again, please go to your upline, go to your mentors, and don't be a parrot. Don't copy them and don't copy me. Take little bits of what I say, little bits of what they say, and be the best version of yourself in your elevator pitch. So you know the answer to what is. And I share this story because the apartment I'm in now is a bit different to the one I was in. We were in this apartment that was, amazing. This one is too, but that one was quite new, and we were in this spectacular apartment, but the next floors above us, I realized we were in the poverty pack, meaning if you thought ours was good, you should go to the fifth floor. The fifth floor was like marble, everything, and holy crap. And so I got invited to go to a afternoon drinks on a Friday up there. And of course, I've got a Numi number plate, and I thought, I know what's going to happen. All these, and they're very wealthy people, all these wealthy hoity-toities are going to go, what's Numi? And I need to be ready. So here's my version of what I said. Now, selling is telling the truth attractively. Okay, remember that. Selling is telling the truth attractively. So if someone asks me what I do, I say we invented a nutrition nanotechnology delivery method. What it means is we can deliver nutrition within 70 seconds into the cells and absorbs past the last layer of the skin. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And in some countries, we have gone through a traditional retail model. In other countries, we've gone through a home-based business model. Anyway, tell us more about what you do, Phoebe. See how I've controlled the conversation again? Now, what I just said is truthfully the Numi model. We invented a nanotechnology nutrition breakthrough. We've got a product that absorbs through the last layer of the skin, and we launched it in traditional retail, and we've launched it in a home-based business. The word home-based business doesn't conjure up the same thoughts as network marketing, in my opinion. So that's the only reason I don't use that word, right? Just like I don't say my upline guru on a three-way call, I just say my friend. So we use language people are familiar with. Plus, by giving the truth about some countries, only 2 at this point, but having a professional reseller program option of retail and home-based business says we're not just your traditional company. So that's what I say, and that's my elevator pitch. Now, in terms of preparation, confidence comes from competence. And that's why I'm saying if you haven't said out loud, walking around the house like an actor, saying it out loud, what do you do for a living? And blah, 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 blah. What do you do for a living? Blah, blah, blah. And finishing it with, hey, and what do you do for a living? Flipping it, learning to ask the questions. Because if I leave a full stop at the end and I don't ask a question, guess what's going to happen? They're going to ask me more questions. Now, if I want that, I'll purposefully just finish without asking a question. And then I'll get 5 questions I'm ready to handle. If I don't want to, because maybe I'm amongst 10 people and I've got a potential heckler, I can direct the conversation back to other things myself. Okay. So that's preparation, practicing your pitch, right? And again, using the we, not the they. All right. You're talking about your business, our business, right? Is Noumi really you? Is it running through your veins, or have you just joined this thing? That's the difference, right? Point number 4, follow up. After your events, I believe it's important to message a friendly message after the event. So it might be if you've added them on Facebook, hey, I'm looking here, Florence. Hey, Florence, it was great meeting you yesterday at the event. Lovely to get to know a bit more about your business. Hey, let's stay in touch. That's all, right? Not, hey, do you want to talk about Noumi straight away? Let's incubate for a little while potentially, right? My job during this next 4 to 6 week period is just add to the list, add to the list, add to the list. So I've got this huge pre-warmed up list ready for 2026 to go berserk. So it could be a text message. If you didn't have her on Facebook, it could be a LinkedIn message. It could be an email. It could be a Facebook message, whatever it is, just a BS excuse for them to remember. Because guess what? Out of those events, how many out of 10 people do you think will send a follow-up message having met somebody new? If you don't do it, 0. So you want to stand out for them crowd, send a follow-up message, be friendly. And the 5th point was think creatively. Now, it's interesting. This came to me just as I was starting the event because something happened in social media. I'm like, wow. So during December, have a look at how many social media contacts you have. And mine's a bit big to do this, right? I've got 5,700 followers. But why not take this idea to a whole new level? Christmas, the festive period, is a great excuse to reconnect with everyone. So why not have a little message that's very personalized? Don't just copy paste the same message to everyone without having their name in it. But maybe, let's say I'm looking at the screen now, Gloria Parks, right? Let's say Gloria's on my Facebook and we haven't interacted for, in my case, there might be mortgage brokers I haven't interacted with for 10 years, right? I might just say, hey, Gloria, just thought I'd reach out and say in advance of Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, because I know how hectic it's going to be in the next few days. That might be somewhere around the middle of December, right? Rather than waiting for Christmas. Just, hope you had a great year. I might look at something on her Facebook wall and, maybe she's got a new puppy and PS, cute puppy, just a BS excuse to re-engage that relationship. 2 things are going to happen. 1, if you haven't spoken to them for years, they're like, what have you been up to? 2, if you don't know Facebook algorithms, they're probably not seeing your stuff 10 years down the track anyway, because Facebook algorithms will only push to the top of the newsfeed things that have lots of interaction. That's why you go and watch our Facebook, Facebook social media professionalism recording in the back office, because it talks about how to get more engagement. But there will be people there that haven't seen a post from me in years because we're just not interacting with each other. So I might have 5,600 followers, but they're not all seeing my stuff. When I interact with them on a private message, guess what happens? The news feed then comes back into their eyes. So it's a great excuse to say hello, and then some of the things you're posting are going to go back up in the newsfeed. And if you were to approach that person 3 months from now, it isn't a cold contact anymore, is it? You've warmed it up, okay? So think creatively. So you could go thousands of people re-engaging new relationships and talking to new people that haven't spoken of years just by using the BS excuse, the fact that it is the Christmas period right now. So I would love to say that I know the answers to all the questions, but I've got some great mentors and got some great people in the team, and they're going to give you a different perspective, okay? So I'm just bringing it up on the screen for me now. We have done an amazing interview with Karen and Alex. Now I'm going to start with Alex because Karen talks more about follow-through stuff that you can do at this period. Alex talks more about what to do, and he is the master distributor of Noumi. If you didn't know this, every single one of you are in his team. There is no one else connected directly to Noumi. They're all in that team, and Alex is a crown, soon to be more than that. That's all I'm saying. And you know what? The business is flying for him across the entire world. And he's been a great mentor for me over many, many, many years. In fact, we met at a diamond retreat where I was not in his downline in a previous company. And I asked, why am I not hearing from the crowns at the diamond retreat? And Alex said, good question. And in that particular company, the corporate wanted their face everywhere, and they didn't actually believe in having people like Alex mentor. I built a direct relationship with Alex from that day forward, and he's been amazing in helping me learn the wisdom that I needed to break free of diamond, then on to crown. So let's have a listen to what Alex has to say.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me on. And it's always a pleasure to be able to talk to everyone and be able to share some of the stuff that has worked for me year in, year out. This is the best time of the year to honestly be thinking about building your future.
I just want to say, guys, give me 10 seconds. I don't know why his lips aren't moving. He's become a very good ventriloquist. But this is an interview you definitely want to have a listen to, and it is definitely worthwhile. Give me 2 seconds. There we
Well,
go. Perfect. Got it working. All right. Take some notes. There's a lot of wisdom coming out of his mouth.
hello everyone. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me on. And it's always a pleasure to be able to talk to everyone and be able to share some of the stuff that has worked for me year in, year out. This is the best time of the year to honestly be thinking about building your future. And when I say thinking, is most of us are already dwelling on the stuff we didn't achieve that we said we would from 24 to 25, what we know as resolutions, right? And a lot of us have some resolutions. And for the most part, if you realize, most individuals, we tend to just continue resolutions and they're always the same. The ones from last year that we didn't accomplish and from the year before and from the year before, which is usually pretty much the same for everybody. Most people have resolutions such as physical. Okay, what am I going to do about my weight, about my health, about going to the gym? That's why we see gyms get filled up the very first month of the year. And by the second or third month, there's no one there, and people are still paying memberships. And when it comes to financials, people are always thinking, okay, next year's got to be better than this year. And I don't think any year is the exception for that. We always want to do better than the next year. And then maybe take care of some relationship stuff, and those becomes your really they become the main core of your resolutions for the next year, right? Or maybe do a career change or a job change and whatnot, and you would know that. So I'm going to start out by telling you one of the things you want to figure out is your why. Why are you going to go out and do the next two things that I'm going to tell you? And that why you need to answer yourself. Set your New Year's resolution right now. Don't wait until 6 weeks from now when it's December 30th or 31st and start saying it and start doing it. Do it now. Treat it as if the year is already ending. Now, that's only for your resolutions. Some of you still have 6 weeks to 7 weeks left where you can go out and make happen what you said you were going to do last year. All right, so don't give up just yet. This is just to create the mindset where you're already going to start to get a head start, if you may, okay, over anybody else that's waiting until the end of the year to be able to decide what their resolution is going to be. And if your resolution is about finances and improving your finances, maybe increasing your rank if you're already in a good position here at UMI, then you realize that, decide that that's what you're going to do and start acting on it now. Now, that would be number one. Decide your New Year's resolution, your 2026. How's your 2026 going to pan out for you? And decide that now. Write it down, focus on it. And then, we're coming up on the time of the year where everybody's hopes are up, where you might be bumping into some acquaintances, or you may be getting a lot of different invitations to socialize, to go out, to gatherings. In the US, we have Thanksgiving. In Canada, Thanksgiving that's coming up, and all of that is real good because you come around individuals that you maybe only see once or twice a year. So this is the time not to stay home, not to say, oh, I'm going to take this as a vacation and stay home and rest and watch Netflix and go binging on TV shows or other stuff that's not going to necessarily add to your business. So what I would say is accept every single invitation you get from here on to the end of the year. Every single invitation to socialize, to be able to go out and meet with other individuals that, like I said, perhaps you haven't seen them in a while, and now's the time. And go out and be as attractive as you can be. Go out and be yourself. Go out and just give them the best of your best version. Give them the best of you. Okay, become attractive. That's what's gonna make. That's gonna want to make other individuals get close to you, be around you a little more than just once or twice a year. So this is your opportunity to be able to go out and share about who you are and to be able to go out and get maybe involved a little more in other people's lives. And by that, I don't mean be nosy. I just mean connect. And one of the things I've used for years and I've taught on it for years also is to be able to use the strategies that work in every single environment with every single individual. And if you've never heard of this, write this down. You want to apply the strategy that's called FORM, FORM. The F stands for family. Catch up with individuals you haven't seen in a while, or maybe you have talked to them recently, but not just about their family. You talk to them maybe about business or other type of endeavors, but talk to them about their family. Find out about their family. Find out how their kids are, if they have kids, their grandkids. Find out how their significant other is and whatnot. Okay, just get involved a little like that and ask questions. Michael's brilliant at teaching us that he who asks the questions is always in control. And that is the truth. And this is a great opportunity for you to take control of those relationships and create a little bonding. So ask them about their family. And if you happen to know them a little better or a little more in depth than just somebody that you's just an acquaintance, then ask them about their family by names with specific situations that you may be concerned about or you just want to know about. All right, that would be for the F, family. Occupation is the O. Ask them how this year is going, how this year is going to close out for them, how they've been doing, how they are in their new opportunity, if it's a new opportunity, or in their always opportunity, right? I don't want to say old, but in what they've been used to doing for the past few years, how that's coming along. We know that everywhere around the world, everything is increasing in price. It's not just in the US, it's not just in any region of the world, it's not just in Europe, it's all around. Things are getting more expensive. So how are they making out with that? How are they securing their financial future, for lack of a better term? So talk to them about their occupation. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to ask you about yours. And that gives you an opportunity to leave a window open so that you may get back to them in the future, near future, real near future. Don't wait until next year or next Christmas, next year or next season, holiday season or next Thanksgiving. You're going to tell them, hey, why don't we sit down and have a coffee before the year's over? Why don't we sit down and talk a bit more before the year's over? I think I have something that has helped me out this year that could be very good for you. Talk to them about their occupation. And then you want to talk to them about recreation. Ask them how their time for themselves was this year. Did they have enough? Is it something that they're looking forward in the future to be able to have some more time to travel, to be involved in their be just doing the things that we like to do? What would you do if time and money were not an issue? That's a question that I always ask people because it tells you a lot about what they really like to do or what they would really love to do, right? If time and money was not an issue, what would you like to do? And that covers recreation because people will always tend to tell you what enthuses them, what their hobby is. Okay, so get involved in those kinds of questions. And then the other one would be the message. Okay, form. What is the message you want to leave these individuals with? Do you want to show them a better side of you? Do you want to show them, like I said, your best version? Do you want to let them see in you that you're becoming an entrepreneur here at Numi, that you have access to some information and some technology that's changing lives around the world, but don't be the message, be the messenger. The M is for messenger. Become the messenger, become that individual that they want to get back with right away because they want to be able to find out what it is that has you so excited. And as you go through this holiday season, show your passion about what you're doing. Most people, the only reason they're not getting more traction in their business is because they're not showing the passion about what they're doing. They're not showing the passion about what they have in their hands. Remember, a leader is always somebody that has a certain glow about what they have because we have an answer, we have a better opportunity, we have a solution for most people that are out there right now, even perhaps on their knees, just praying for things to change. And you are that change that people are looking for, but you got to decide that right now. Okay, and you got to believe that right now. And if this year wasn't the year that you achieved the things you set out to do, I bet you if you hung around, you're closer. If you're still here and if you're still excited and if you're still thinking, okay, I know it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. And it's something that I gotta get out and do. then guess what? It is up to you because our compensation plan is the same for everybody and our product is the same for everybody. Our platforms that we use and our tools and our system is the same for everybody. So what is the difference between somebody that succeeds and somebody that doesn't? Number one, I started out with that. Don't procrastinate. Just go out and decide what it is you want to do, what it is you want to have next year, and start working on it now. That's going to be your advantage. Your advantage starts now. It doesn't start next year to see what you can make next year happen. It starts right now. And if you start to create that traction, which by the way, Numi has created an environment where really the year's closing is going to be phenomenal. And as the weeks go by, in the next few weeks, you're going to be hearing some stuff that's just going to get you excited about building your future here and building up an opportunity that's going to withstand the test of time. And it's going to become, to a certain point, recession proof. Who doesn't want to live a life that's recession proof? So it doesn't matter what's going on outside, but you are going to have to go out and touch those lives, and you are going to have to go out and talk to those individuals that are out there waiting for you to connect with them, waiting for you to guide them into a system where they can realize that it in life right now, and we're seeing it and we're hearing it more, it's only getting easier, okay, to make more money. It's not as hard as in years past where you had to really get into the nitty-gritty of a lot of different things and understand what it is that's happening and understand the A through Z in a certain topic. We have a system here that anybody can join, anybody can follow the steps of those of us that have come before and start to generate a life that's going to be fulfilling and a life that's going to allow them to have those things they really want. But it starts with that once again. So we've come full circle. I hope that this bit of information helps you take advantage of the holiday season. Whatever you do now in the next 6 weeks could literally set you up for the next year. Literally set you up to have the most incredible 2026 or the most incredible year you've ever had. That's what Numi has done in the lives of many people that have taken this opportunity seriously and have gone out and shared it with others with passion. So I hope all of this helps. And obviously, we're going to be doing a lot of events where we're going to be sharing some information and just exposing a lot of different techniques that as the year goes by and as time goes by, they're only going to help you secure your future here at Numi. Okay, and that's what we're all here for. So I wish you all an incredible holiday season, but it starts right now. And I wish you a better 2026. Okay, because that's why we all come together, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sharing what it is that I've been doing for the past, in my case, 4 years, because I've been here since day one, and I'm going to continue to just use the same techniques, okay, and continue to just talk to individuals with the same passion that I've always talked to everyone about and not change something that's working for me. So I'm just sharing with you that's what works. Put it to the test and give it a try. And we'll see how your year begins compared to this year. Okay, so don't wait around, don't procrastinate, and go out and get it done. So thank you. Back to you, Michael.
Beautiful. So type in the chat, what's the one thing you just got out of that? There's plenty of pearls of wisdom in there. And you know, you don't fall on the top of a mountain. Alex didn't build to crown and have multiple crowns in the team by accident, right? Form, fantastic. So family, occupation, recreation, money. He also said attend every event, and he also said start now. So let's not wait till next year. Everything you're going to do now is what's going to set you up for the future. So just give me 1 second. I just want to get something else, make sure something's working on the back end here before we go to the next step. Okay, there you go. I just wanted to make sure that Karen's lips were moving because in Alex's case, they weren't. I don't know why. So again, you don't fall on the top of the mountain. The fastest land speed record that has not been broken since is Karen Justice in 5.5 months all the way to crown. She's also, and without giving away, you know, people's business, because we wouldn't do that, I can tell you she's the most secure crown. She didn't just hit her. there, and she stayed there, and she stayed there, and she stayed there. And even during the period where Numi went through some technology challenges, she stayed there. And why did she do that? Because she's got a really solid business. There's a lot of wisdom in her head. She has a bigger heart than Texas. But I want you to get some pearls of wisdom here. And she comes from a totally different angle. And that's what I love about this. I've given you that perspective. Alex gave you this one. Karen's now going to give you this one, right? And by 3 different people's input, hopefully you got some pearls of wisdom. So let's have a listen to Karen.
Over to you, Karen.
Okay, hi everyone. I hope the things that I'm going to share today help you, because I believe that December can be the most productive time of year, and I'm asking you to change how you look at it. The truth is there's only 2-3 days during Christmas and maybe half a day on New Year's, where people are really, I should say a day and a half on New Year's, where people are involved in other things. Other than that, they're very open and reflective. And one of the things they're reflecting on, a lot of people out there today, is the fact that they need more money. And so, you can tap into that and, with a kind and loving heart, share something that can make a difference in their lives. I'm so grateful to be part of NUMMI. I'm so glad that Larry shared it with me, because it's changed my financial future, and I've watched it change the financial future of a lot of people I care about. So keep that in your heart over Christmas, that you can be doing something wonderful. One of the most important things in network marketing is to constantly build your contact list and your funnel. And Christmas creates just an amazing opportunity to focus on genuine connections, getting back with people you haven't talked to in quite a while, and start to create positive interactions. Again, you don't necessarily go right into a presentation, but you're reigniting contacts for your funnel. So many distributors take their attention off the business. So I'm asking, in the holidays, instead of less communication, increase yours and your teams, and you will, if you double or triple your amount of conversations during that time, you'll really build a field of excitement around your team, and you'll move into January in a really good headspace, as well as lots of people in that funnel. So I'm going to talk to you a couple of 3 ways of doing it. Number 1, send out fun cards. There's all kinds of cards out there on the internet. As you know, a lot of you know, I'm a cartoonist, so I think humor opens hearts and it lifts people up. And so there's tons of free fun cards on the internet that you can find all over the place. And it's an excellent excuse to reach out to those old acquaintances. So it won't necessarily seem like prospecting, but you can use it as the first step, as I said, to get back into a connection with these people that you may have not talked to for 3 years, and you've been kind of scratching your head thinking, how in the heck can I reach out to them? I haven't talked to them in so long. This can be a great first step. During Christmas, you can be laying all the groundwork for so many conversations later in January, as well as in Christmas itself. Also, pay little attention to influencers, because some influencers collaborate with people, they partner with other businesses during the holidays. And so you can expand your reach and tap into their audience's trust if you just call them up, and let them know how much you admire what they do, and just ask if they collaborate with any other companies, or if they've worked out strategies to monetize their following, that type of a conversation. Another holiday tip is to send out a Christmas newsletter with updates, happy pictures of your family, all the things you did during the year, maybe your dog in a Christmas hat, those types of things, open people's hearts and they attract attention and they get you back in touch with people. And as people reach out, say, oh, that was the cutest picture. I love your dog. And you can reach out back and say, what are you up to these days? That type of thing. One of the other things right around the holidays you can do is start posting more and post interactive posts. Remember what I said, most people are in a state of quiet desperation. So also be conscious of the fact that we've helped so many people have a better Christmas this year, and you can do that for others. So post the types of pictures that attract communication. As I said, pictures of you and your pets. There's all kinds of things. Pictures of, you can ask people, hey, let's post some fun pictures of some of our old Christmases, or you can ask them to post funny pictures of themselves as a kid at Christmas, or the funniest Christmas sweater. You can showcase your Christmas decorations and ask them to showcase theirs. Ask for a favorite Christmas recipe. That's something that I like to do. I always love new recipes. You can, even ask what was your best or worst Christmas present, where they're intending to go or spend Christmas, that type of thing. At the end of the year, you can do a year-end roundup post about how grateful you are for your business, post some pictures of people doing happy things through the whole year with your business, maybe with hats on. I love hats. And, just let people see how much fun you're having with your business, because happiness attracts. Number 3, I would also say to do some customer appreciation events. Now you can do them at home with friends and family and neighbors and things like that, but not just customers, your affiliates, as well as people you'd like to be. You can call it Let's Mingle and Jingle, and you can talk about your product and have people telling success stories. You can have cocktails and conversations, that type of event, and then focus on some customer testimonials, but keep it fun. Have games. If you drink, you might have some champagne or wine or something. Just make it a fun networking event. Now you can also have Zooms to get together with your group and celebrate the year. You can ask them, I'm doing one like this, you can ask them to wear hats and funny sweaters if they have them, and just open it up so everybody can talk and share their experiences with Numi. So a team appreciation Zoom call is one of my happiest events of the year. I just love it. And of course, this is the time to think of giving product to anybody that you care about. And it's a life-changing product. We change the quality of people's lives. And look at how nicely I did this one. I stuck a bow on it just to show you. But I've got some back there in a little bag. And there's all kinds of ways you can make it look really festive and that they're getting something lovely. We've got great brochures, and we've got this one, for instance. They're all lovely. And so you can add them in so it adds value and they can see what a wonderful thing that they're getting. So I hope some of these things helped. I really think, as I said, that Christmas is the greatest time of year. I wanted to end with just one quick thing, and it's my favorite quote by Robin Sharma. And it's he is the man who wrote Who Will Cry When You Die, and the monk who sold his Ferrari. And he talks about practicing tough love on yourself. Make choices are the right ones. The tougher you are on yourself, the easier life will be on you. Successful people have the habit of doing things failures don't like to do. Successful people don't like to do them either necessarily, but their disliking is subordinated to the strength of their purpose. So have a wonderful holiday season, everybody. I love you.
All right. Who got a lot out of that one? Type in what you got out of that particular one. And I wrote down the bottom here, the synchronicity between what I've said, Alex said, and Karen said was genuine connections, reconnecting. So it's not about you, it's about getting to know other people and being genuinely interested in other people. So giving cards, warmth, absolutely. You can tell it's spread the joy. It's from the heart. In fact, it's funny. She said, I didn't know this on her interview when last weekend Liz and I went to a place called Spotlight and they had a Christmas sale on. And this guy, right, this is the quirkiest, weird thing I've ever seen. Look at the size of his legs, right? It's nuts. So I bought this guy. Liz said, that's quirky. And so I was actually going to take a photograph of that and put that on my social media as soon as you get to December the 1st, along with this kooky looking crazy reindeer that Liz got as well. So we both bought something kooky for Christmas, which is great. So just recapping, okay? At the start of this call, what did I say? I said this iPhone without a battery is useless. All the potential in the world, it can do everything, except without a battery, it can do zero. What can you do as a member without a list? You can't do anything. Useless. Tits on a bull, that's what we say in Australia. Ashtray on a motorbike is another thing we say in Australia, right? Useless. So without battery, this is useless. Without a list, you in Noumi are not going to achieve your goals. So I can't implore you enough to listen to what Karen and Alex have just said about using this period of time to get out there and connect with more people. So let's recap some of the things we said. We basically started out by saying, number one, the mindset of this time of the year. It is the time to add to your list. It's the best time in the world. So don't down tools, ramp it up, as we've just said. Skills. Form, which is what Alex said, family, occupation, recreation, message. Skills that I said, open-ended questions. What, when, how, when, who, why, who. Preparation, right? Know your elevator pitch. Practice it out loud. A lot of people said they've not done that. So no wonder you look like a rabbit in the headlights where they go, what do you do? And then somehow this thing called Noumi comes out without a lot of confidence and they wonder why people don't jump on board. Whereas practice it out loud and remember this. What did I say? Not they, Noumi, we, Noumi, you, Noumi, your business. It's not your part of something. This is Noumi. You are Noumi. So we, all the way home, as they say. Follow up, right? So follow up. After that, follow up in the way that Karen talked about, follow up in the way that I talked about, using Facebook as an incubator, sending an SMS message saying, I'd really love to meet you, that sort of thing. And then on December 1st, only because I think on December 1st you could do it and any earlier might be a bit weird and creepy, start picking out how many people a day on your social media that you haven't spoken to is your goal. Is it 20 a day? Is it 30 a day? Is it 50 a day? That you're just going to send a message out and say, hey, Phoebe, I just wanted to get ahead of the rush. You know what it's like. Christmas is coming. And when it comes, you know, a million messages come in. But I just wanted to say, I hope you had a great year, you know, and I hope you've got some great plans for next year as well. And, you know, it's you know, we haven't connected in some time. So it's really cool just to say hi or something like that. Just initiate a conversation. So form, attend every event, start now, genuine connections, reconnect, interactive posts, all of those things will get this battery fully charged off the charts so that when we get to the 1st of January, then you're ready to explode 2026. Now, we've still got a couple more events, maybe 3 more events before we wind it back for the year. And will be lots more training, lots more ideas. But this event was timely right now because we need to get you prepared to go to every single festive event that is on so we can build your lists. So I hope you got a lot out of today, guys. If you did, please, we'll put a link to this for playback into the Noumi member group in just a moment. Go in there and type for others why they need to watch the playback on YouTube of this, because everyone in your team, if they take this on board, you're going to have a very different 2026 than you